Well, I guess the biggest aha moment of my career came in talking to one of our existing customers. I was sitting down with them and I said, "Look, I know you get attacked by hundreds of companies all the time. Everybody's trying to get your attention. What can you tell me about how we, as marketing people and salespeople, can do a better job of breaking through all that clutter? How do we start conversations with you without driving you crazy?" And he laughed and he thought for a few minutes, and he said, "Well, I can think of a lot of things that you can't do or you shouldn't do. So don't invite me to a ball game. I don't like sports. If you spend a little time checking me out, you could probably figure that out in advance. I also have plenty of friends, and if I wanted to go to an event or a sporting event or to a wine tasting or something like that, I wouldn't want to do it with you and your sales reps, frankly. Don't offer to buy dinner. Frankly, I've eaten enough red meat. I've drank enough red meat and eaten enough steak in my life that, inviting me to another dinner is not really something that I would enjoy. I like to stay home. Don't send me a bunch of junk with logos on it. I have trash cans full of logo plastic. I don't want any more logo junk in my office. I'm not going to put it in my office anyway. I'm just going to throw it away or give it to my kids. So just don't send it to me. It's a complete waste of time. He said, but there is one thing, one characteristic that's true of all of the salespeople that I do allow into my office more than once. He said they do one thing. They give me a new way to look at an old problem. Now, it could be that they change my perspective on what's going on around. Maybe they challenge some constraints that I've boxed myself into. They help me kind of unpack my thinking and rethink the way that I'm thinking. But they give me a new way to think. They give me an idea or the seed of an idea that I can take and use to make my daily life better, to do better in my career, to advance my company. Those are the sales reps that get through and get through more than once. He also said, when you send those sales reps, if I let you in, when I send them to you, one more thing, don't have them come in, look around my office, see the picture of my children, sitting on my desk and start asking me about my family. I'm divorced. My wife got custody. And it's kind of a painful subject. Okay, first let's define paying off. If all it is about money, and that's all you really desire in your career, or power, or control, or a big office, or that comes like that, I probably can't help you. I had all those things. I worked for a $9-10 billion company. I had a newly minted MBA. I had 4 kids, one brand new, still in the crib. And I walked away from it all to start, to be a founding member of a startup with nothing. We had 4 guys in a basement with a whiteboard and a box of Oreo cookies and a bottle of scotch. That's all we had. We didn't even have a dog. Usually it's 2 guys and a dog. That was a long time ago. That startup failed miserably, as did several others that I was involved in, to be honest with you. That's the nature of the startup business, and anybody who tells you it's different is lying to you. But every once in a while, you get lucky, and maybe you'll make some money, and maybe things will work out. But I left Big Co, where I honestly was fat, dumb, and happy, and many people who stayed are still fat, dumb, and happy and make a lot more money probably than I do, and have retirements and whatever, pensions. because I walked into a conference room and there were 40 people in the conference room, and every one of them worked for the company that I work for. And it took over 30 minutes to go around the conference table for everybody to explain their name, their title, who they worked for, and what they were doing in the meeting before we could get to the subject of the meeting. And it was a 1-hour meeting. And I walked out of that session and I went home and I told my wife, I can't do that. I don't want to spend my life doing that. Life's too short. I want to go create things and break things and make a mess. And I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know if we're going to starve or we're going to thrive, but I can't do that. I'd rather chop wood or fish or something than that. So I did what I did, and it's been 30 plus years, and I've done 8 startups now. And the payoff for me has been personal, some financial, a little bit, I guess. It's been in the people that I've worked with and the people that I've helped and the companies that we've created, the jobs that we've started, the industries that we've shaken up. That's been the real payoff for me. Oh boy, okay. A lot of little things and maybe some big ones. The first thing that I would say is learn to write. Learn how to write. Write every day. Write until you write in your sleep. Write. Writing focuses your mind. It forces you to put thoughts together in coherent sentences. It helps you structure your thought patterns, and it gives you a way to express yourself beyond your thoughts. So learn to write and write every day about anything and everything that you are interested in writing about. The second thing is to build and nurture your network. Your network is probably the most important thing that you'll ever have. You need to rely on them for references, for jobs, for job offers, to success, partnerships, all kinds of things. So collect them, build it, pay forward, help people when there's no reason to help them other than just that they need help. Helping people actually feels good. It's good for your soul, and it's good for your network, and it's good for your career. Conversely, ask your network for things too. People like to help, and as long as you're not begging, asking people for help and asking people for advice and asking people for favors is good, and it actually builds on relationships, and it helps you build a tighter network. So help and ask for help. 3, learn stuff, learn all the time, but you also have to go to school. Learning and sort of learning on the fly is great, and worked out for Bill and a few other people, not getting degrees. But in marketing, having an MBA matters. And you can say you can rail against that, or it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters in career selection, in recruiter attention, in op selection. If you want to get ahead in marketing and get to a leadership role in marketing, you pretty much have to have an MBA. I'm sorry, but it's the fact of the matter. Or you have to have an amazing thing happen to you when you're relatively young, so everybody thinks you're brilliant, one or the other, or both. In my case, and I'm not, religious about this, but I don't. There's no barrier to doing that. You can make up all the barriers you want about doing that. I'll just tell you my quick story. I had 3 children. I had a good job in a great company in Boston. And one day I looked at my wife and I said, I want to apply for an executive accelerated MBA program in Chicago. Means I'm going to be gone every other weekend for 2 years, and I'm going to be gone most of the summer for 1 whole year. And she looked at me and she said, so about that 4th kid, I really want to have a girl. She's a pretty good negotiator. We ended up having a girl for the 4th one, and I ended up getting my degree just about the same time, or just a little bit after she was born. So there's really no excuse. If I can do that, and she can do that, put up with all of that and invest that much in my career, you can too. So, get off your butt and get back to school and get your MBA. And if you already have an MBA, then get back to school and learn some other skills that that you're not an expert on. But learning is really important. Conversely, teaching, mentoring, and coaching is really important too, because paying back pays you. You'll learn more from the people that you help than you have given them. So teach, it causes you to forces you to learn, and it also gives you a great feeling inside of confidence, and you really believe the knowledge that you have. And then the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm sorry if Steve and the folks don't like this, but it's true. Don't be an asshole. You know how to tell about assholes, right? There's one on every team. If you don't know who it is on your team, look in the mirror. Don't be that person. Okay, well, it's always easier to tell about the campaigns that don't work than the ones that do, but I'll tell you a quick story about both. So we ran a big, expensive ABM campaign in the UK. We hired an outside agency. We put together all these lists of senior executives that we wanted to meet with. We decided that this tennis event was going to be a big deal, and everybody would want to go to the tennis event. Back to lesson number one that I told you: don't invite me to come to a ball game. Anyway, we did. We sent people massive tennis balls. I guess they're used to sign on, to get signatures on, and with our logos on them. And they showed up, and the idea was supposedly, come with us to this game, and you're going to get to meet the players and get signatures, and it's all going to be great. I don't know. We spent $50,000 on this thing or something like that, and people showed up, but absolutely nothing came out of it. There was no deals, no nothing. Very frustrating all the way around. But anyway, so that's the kind of thing that didn't work. Conversely, we recently ran a program that worked great, and it was the silliest little thing I'd ever seen, but I thought it worked. It was a great idea. One of the folks here had one of the marketing folks. It's cold and flu season. Well, we sent out boxes of Kleenex with our logo wrapped around them, and bottles of hand washing alcohol with our logo on them that you could hang on your purse or on your bag or whatever, and wipes, I think, for the table, hygienic disinfecting wipes, all in a little kit that said, it's cold and flu season, we're thinking of you, protect yourself, and while you're at it, protect your systems, and let us tell you how with Illusive security, right? So a silly little tie-in. We had I don't know, a handful of people who actually wrote us notes back and said, wow, this is really creative. Thank you very much. I love it. I always throw this stuff away, but this one I'm going to keep on my desk because, everybody needs Kleenex. So anyway, there's two examples of, the big blown out one and a simple one. I guess maybe the lesson there is simpler is better. Anyway. The self-serving vocal video question. What do we see about the role of video going forward? So obviously what's happening is everybody's attention span is shrinking down to that of, tsetse flies. We have, I think 17 seconds or something that we pay attention to something before we either devote time to it or don't. So, of course, video is important. We've all grown up with it now. Nobody really reads anything anymore. Aside from my advice about writing all the time, nobody ever reads anything. But so, it's becoming pervasive into everything. Video is obviously critical for outreach. It's critical for sales enablement, because boy, if we all have CT5 attention spans, sales reps have, baby CT5 attention spans. So you really got to, feed them in small chunks and make things really interesting. So we're doing a lot with it here at Illusive. The coolest thing that we're doing right now around video is taking it sort of to the next level. So we're taking our crunchy old PowerPoint sales presentation and turning it into an immersive experience. We're in the network security business, so we're going to take customers into the network, literally, and show them around what the network looks like from the attacker's perspective. We're going to let them interact with the elements of the network. We're going to let them see the attackers off in the distance, moving around the network, interacting with the network elements. We're going to let them see what happens when you install our product and see how the network reacts to that, how the attackers interact with it and stuff. It's just the coolest approach to technology I've seen in a long time from a marketing perspective. We're pushing the limits of this gamified view. But I can just imagine not too long in the future, we're going to walk into prospects' offices and, ask them to put it on an Oculus so that we can give them our sales presentation. But anyway, that's kind of where I think we're headed with it all.